I started my podcast roughly 6 months ago now, and during that time I've received a load of different questions from different people, asking questions like, is podcasting worth pursuing? What equipment do I need? Is it expensive? Is it cheap? How do I get my podcast out there? How do I get my name out there? In this episode, I'm going to show you how to start a podcast in 2025. So why start a podcast? I've written down 3 main reasons as to why you should be starting a podcast this year in 2025. No matter if it's video, audio, or both, no matter what the topic is you're talking about, if it's a solo, if it's a guest, these are the 3 reasons as to why you should be starting podcasting. So number 1, building your personal brand. If you don't know what this means, your personal brand is your reputation and your identity, how people see you. I think if you're someone like me who started podcasting because he wants a business when he's older, podcasting is a really good tool to do that, because with podcasting you learn a lot of skills along the way. So communication skills, one of them, editing skills, presentation skills when it comes to trailers for the podcast, little things like that. You learn a lot of skills along the way. And especially in Jersey, a little place like Jersey, your reputation means a lot on this island, just because everyone knows each other. And it's nice when people recognise my name, they link it to the Island Driven podcast, and that's what building your personal brand means. Your professional identity, your reputation. I think building your personal brand also leads you to new opportunities. So when you bring guests onto the podcast, so say if you start a podcast and it's building your personal brand, them guests that you have, you can make friends with them. You got LinkedIn, you got Instagram, you got social media you keep in touch with, and you get invited to other podcasts. You get invited to networking events, stuff like that. It's new opportunities that podcasting opens them doors to. So I think podcasting is a really good tool when it comes to building your personal brand, putting yourself out there, putting your podcast out there, putting your name out there, especially when it's the first thing you do in terms of a business. So number 2, network with interesting people. So this is in regard to maybe guest style podcasts, but you could argue that it could be both solo and guest styles. Because say if I was a solo podcaster, I didn't interview guests. If you're talking about a specific topic that someone else is interested in, maybe it's someone in the same field or a fellow podcaster or something like that, you could connect with interesting people that way. But in terms of having a guest on your podcast, like I said, you could be in touch with them, networking events you could be invited to. If they have a podcast, you'd be invited to on their podcast as well. So networking with interesting people, podcasting is really good for that, obviously, if you're doing guest styles. And you never know who and where you're going to be when you're older. So having this podcast, having these connections might help you out in the long term. If you want that business, if you want to try something new, you're going to have them connections, you're going to have them contacts that maybe can help you. So podcasting is really good for that. And number 3, improve communication skills. Like I said, it doesn't just improve communication skills, it improves a lot of other skills as well. If you're someone like me that, well, put it this way, before the podcast, I did the speaker factor and stuff like that. I wouldn't even get on the stage. I wouldn't even put my face in front of a camera. So when I was doing the solo ones like this one, it takes a lot of my time compared to guest ones where I just ask the questions and they talk for 45 minutes to an hour and the episode's done. Whereas these ones I have to talk, just me, sharing my journey, sharing like this episode, how to start a podcast in 2025. So improving communication skills, it's definitely done that. I remember my first one, I think I spent 2 hours trying to get the introduction episode out, and it was a 7-minute episode and it took 2 or 3 hours, and it was because I was just restarting, head down, if someone walked past, blurring people's faces out. The editing took ages. It was stuff like that. So obviously I'm not perfect, like the communication skills side, I'm not perfect yet, but podcasting is really good if you want to improve that skill. So if you're someone like me that before didn't want to put my face out there in social media, it's fine. Podcasting is really good if you want to improve in that area. I think when I first started podcasting, when I put that first episode out, I was staring at the views, staring at the likes, staring at the comments, thinking there's not many views, not many likes, not many comments, and it was hard. And I searched it up, and apparently all podcasters, all social media people do it. Look at the comments, look at the likes, and feel they haven't done that great. And that was a 7-minute episode, my first episode. So of course I'm going to be like, it's not great and stuff like that. And I think if you want to start a podcast, you need to think of if you got 15 views, say 20 views on your episode, and you see the likes of Joe Rogan, Stephen Bartlett's getting millions of billions of views on each podcast episode, and they're 3 hours long, 4 hours long, whatever. Don't compare it to the Stephens of the world, the Joe Rogans of the world, because they're different. You're different. The style's different. Your podcast is different. The message is different. So I think my advice for someone that wants to start a podcast in 2025 and perhaps is worried about the view count if you've just posted your first episode, if it says 20 people, think about what 20 people look like in a room versus online. Think about you being on a stage and talking for 7 minutes, talking for a half an hour, talking for an hour, and 20 people is watching and listening to what you have to say. So that's my advice. And I think I struggled with that my first episode, my second episode, my third. Seeing the view count probably decrease compared to the other one. But yeah, look, just my advice is just to keep improving. Think about what it looks like for 20 people in a room versus what's online, and just keep improving each episode as you go. Podcasting, like I said, it's a lot of value. A lot of value for the host, a lot of value for the guests, for viewers on different platforms, different people. And that's because it's long-form content. You don't really see many podcasts last 2-3 minutes. You see it more half an hour, 20 minutes, an hour to 3 hours, some of the podcasts, 4 hours. It's long-form content. So I can't remember who said this on social media. I saw an Instagram post the other day, and it was talking about short form content versus long form content in regard to podcasting. So short form is like your TikToks, your Instagram reels, you keep swiping, that's short form. Your long form is movies or podcasts, stuff like that. So if I asked you what was the last TikTok that you saw, what was the last Instagram reel you saw, you wouldn't be able to answer. But if I asked you what movie you saw the latest, you'd remember, because it's longer, it's more value in your life. So I think podcasting is really good because you can get a lot out of it. Like I said, Radu Dan, he was the one who said you get a lot of value. It's deep conversations. You get to know each other. You get to know your viewers get to know you. So I think podcasting is really good, a long form, good tool for long form. So you've got your podcast up and running. You've put it onto YouTube, you put it onto Apple Podcasts, you put it onto Spotify, whatever platform you've done it on, and you're worried because you thought it was just you record an episode, you edit, you publish. It's not that. That's probably the shortest amount of time when it comes to podcasting. I think the longest is obviously the editing and the promotion side. So you've got your TikToks, you've got your Instagram Reels, you've got YouTube Shorts, you've got all them, you've got newsletters, you've got Digital Jersey News, you could put it out. You've got all that stuff trying to promote each episode as you go, and that happens each episode. So I think my advice is to be consistent with podcasting for your podcast is make a plan. So my plan is Sunday, I make a plan for the week. So Monday, every 2 weeks, obviously, we publish an episode. Monday, 5 p.m. I always try to meet that deadline. And then you've got the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you upload shorts. So that's YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. You add music, you add pictures, you add images to make it look like a story. But going back, make a plan. Publish the episode on Monday or whatever day you want, whatever day you're recording, editing, or it fits with your life. Monday, publish an episode. Tuesday, short, Instagram, TikTok. Wednesday, do the same. Thursday, record another episode, do the same. Friday, do the same. That's probably the simple weekly plan. Monday episode, and then promote it during the week. but then you'll have more recordings within the week. You'll have more networking events to go to and stuff like this. But I think my advice, if you want to stay consistent, make a solid plan, stick to it. Because obviously if you've got other stuff like fitness, you've got full-time work, maybe you've got uni, it gets a lot. So having that plan in place, knowing, a reminder, 5 p.m, upload that TikTok, upload that Instagram reel, upload that short on whatever platform, it helps because you're promoting the episodes as you go. You're doing little stuff that will make the YouTube channel bigger and better. So I think having a solid foundation, having a solid plan each week for your episode really helps, as it's really helped me. My other advice is do it for the journey, do it for documenting purposes, do it for improving communication skills, whatever skills. Don't do podcasting for money. If you want to do a podcast, research it first, watch this episode first, obviously, and do research after, and just ask it, is podcasting worth it if you're interested in making a profit? Obviously, the Joe Rogans of the world, the Stephen Bartletts of the world, people like that, they make a lot of money from podcasting because their podcast is obviously really, really successful, and that's what it takes to make a profit. But if you're someone like me, if you're someone young as well, and you want to build your personal brand, you want to improve them communication skills, meet interesting people, network with interesting people, podcasting is really, really good. Not to make a profit, but really good to building that personal brand and building all them skills, especially when you're young as well, because you don't know where you're going to be when you're older, obviously. You don't know, them connections might help you, them skills that you've learned through podcasting, if it's editing, presentation skills, like I said, it could take you far in whatever business you start or whatever company you join. It might help you. So that's my other advice for anyone that wants to start a podcast. Don't do it for the money. Do it for, especially if it's your first business or first passion project, putting your face out there, putting an idea out there. Podcasting is really, really good for that. So equipment. If you want to start a podcast, I know a lot of people say podcasting, it requires a lot of money, office space and stuff like that. If you're wondering why my haircut's different, I got my haircut. Proof that this recording took me a few days and not just 1 day, 1 hour. So yeah, if you're wondering why I look different, I got a haircut. Cheers. The truth is, it doesn't really cost that much money. Obviously, you've got this Space Digital Jersey. Obviously, their mics, their equipment is much more expensive, much more higher quality than mine. But if you want to start out in podcasting, it doesn't take that much money to start. So I'm going to show you my equipment that I bought to start my podcast. So these are my microphones. So I bought them off Amazon. I think they were roughly £50-60. Obviously, I bought two. One for me, one for my guest. They're really good. Obviously, these come separate as well. So you put that on to protect the mic, to protect muffled sounds and stuff like that. So this connects to your phone or your laptop, whatever you're using. I connect it to my phone. So I've got two phones. So I don't actually use any cameras like Digital Jersey use. I use just my old iPhone. So if you've got an old iPhone laying about, obviously this is all smashed to pieces, so it doesn't really matter what phone. Obviously it affects the quality of the recording, but what I do is just record off my current phone and my old phone for two cameras, one for the guests, which I use the high quality camera, and one for me, the low quality camera. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast and you think it's too much money to invest in cameras, if you've got an old phone laying about, if you've got a current phone, which everyone has, I think, use them because it saves you costs, it saves you time, and it's miles easier when you're connecting to mics like this. What you do is you've got USB sticks, you plug it in the bottom of this, and you plug it at the bottom of your phone as well. So another thing that you want to get is tripods. So obviously I've got two, this is one of them. I've got table ones as well, which I invested in first and then thought it's not a table one, especially when I was using Santander. This was miles better because obviously it goes to the floor. It goes much higher than this. So I connect both phones to that, one for me, one for my guests. And what you do is plug these USBs in to the mic, to the phone, and it records the footage like that. So that's mainly it for the equipment, I think I spent roughly 150 quid, 200 pounds on the equipment. That includes the 2 mics, the 2 tripods, and obviously I already had my old phone and my current phone. And then if you've got any editing software, obviously I use CapCut on my phone. If you're starting out, I would say use CapCut. I think it's really easy to learn, really easy to use. But I am going to be using Adobe Premium, I think it is, or Premiere or something like that, just because it's higher quality. And if I want to make trailers for podcasts, it's miles easier, I've heard, to CapCut. But if you're starting out in podcasting, I would do CapCut. Miles easier to use than all the other platforms, I think, especially when you're starting out. But yeah, roughly £150 to £200, probably get it cheaper. But yeah, so I'll include all the Amazon links, all the equipment on the video. So if you want to start a podcast, you've got the equipment to do so. And that's me for this episode. I had a lot of issues with this episode. One, I didn't know what camera to look at. It's got, if you don't know, 2 cameras. If you've never been into Digital Jersey Studio, got 2 cameras on the screen. I was staring at one of them and I was talking like that. So that wasn't a help. So hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found it useful. Even if you don't want to start a podcast, I hope you found it interesting. But if you do, hopefully you've got a lot of value out of it. Hopefully I've inspired you to start something, even if it's not a podcast, even if it's just making content or stuff like that. So hopefully you found it useful. I've got a lot of episodes planned. One recording tomorrow, so now it's Friday. Today this episode would be out Monday, hopefully. But yeah, a lot of episodes planned across next month and December. So hopefully you're looking forward to it. So if you're seeing this episode on Monday when it comes out, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, guys.